Well, hey there, I'm a music teacher and composer. My name is Music Mentor Dan, and today I'm going to be answering questions on composing music for video games. We're going to jump straight in with some questions we have in my awesome community for gamers who want to compose video game music. I'm actually going to share my screen so you can see inside the community. I'm going to go through, answer the questions. There's some pieces of music to listen to, and I'm going to give feedback. I do these lives when I have so many questions, it would actually be easier and also more effective for answering them, for me to do them live, because you can give a lot more context with talking. You can give a lot more context with pointing things out when you are, in fact, doing video versus just text. All right, so we're gonna jump in. I'm gonna share my screen. You should be able to see my screen now. Let me know in the chat if you can see everything okay, and we're going to jump straight in. Okay. So first up, we have Adrian Guzman. Adrian is asking questions about, so he went through an exercise of creating subphrases. Subphrases when we take a bunch of motifs and put them together. Now, I already gave some feedback here before. I was like, hey, I just need to do a live stream. So I'm gonna show you what the feedback was. So if we take all right, here we can see that there's four measure subphrases, and each subphrase is identical in rhythm and in notes. This is an effective way of creating an AAAA. For me, what I'd love to see here with an AAAA is keep the same rhythm, change the notes, right? So have the rhythm be AAAA, but then have the notes actually make it be an A prime, maybe back to an A, then maybe an A double prime. In the sense we're actually changing the notes. Now, here's the real piece of feedback too, is if we go look at, for example, let's look at the A, B, C, C subphrase exercise here. And what I'm gonna do here too is I'm gonna play this for you so you can hear it. Yeah, it's pretty quiet, but that's a fantastic subphrase. And we turn the whole thing up. All right, so now let's look at the A, B, C, C, and we're gonna start to see a pattern here. All right, so in the A, B, C, C, I'm gonna play the A for you, then I'll play the B for you, and then we'll talk through what's what here. Where's my mixer? There we go. I'm gonna turn this up. There we go. Better. That's our A. Here's our B. All right, cool. So we can see in the B that there was this motif A, a motif B, the motif B reused, which would be that silence, quarter note, silence, eighth, eighth. Here's the thing though. The first two measures, I'm playing the first two measures of the A. Here's the first two measures of the B. These are identical. Because these are identical, I would actually call this an A to an A prime to a B and then to a B. So really, really fantastic job of taking the same motifs, putting them in a different order to create different subphrases. Now I take this to a different level. To have something be a B subphrase compared to an A subphrase, it needs to be radically different. So different that we could not in any world describe it as being an A. And because 50% of the content in measures 5 through 8 is identical to the content in measures 1 through 4, I'd actually be able to call both of those an A. Specifically, it's when things start the same way. When they end the same way, yeah, we can start to play around with different letters there, but we're taking a note from classical music theory analysis here. Like if we think about something like a period, right, where you have a parallel period, it's like both phrases start the same. We're always looking at the start and then looking next at what happens afterwards. Cool. Awesome job, Adrian. Well done. You're making fantastic progress. Okay, Matthew Eaton has some feedback for a piece called Dragon's Blood. So I'm gonna pop that in here. What I'm gonna do as well too is I'm gonna hop back and forth between the stream too. So I can see if there's any questions. Type it in the chat if you can hear Matthew's piece here. Okay, Matthew, this is a fantastic idea. Now, here's the thing. Let me ask you this. If you had to eat your favorite type of ice cream 3 times a day, every day for an entire week, would you end up still liking that ice cream by day 3? My guess is probably not. You want something else. Like, you're gonna start feeling sick, you're gonna get a sugar rush, you're not gonna feel good. Even though it's your favorite, and even though it's really good, you love the flavor of it. If you just eat that one type of ice cream, you're gonna end up not feeling so great. Now, a similar thing's happening here. You have an incredible flavor of ice cream here. Your idea is awesome. It sounds so cool. Here's the thing, because it's not changing, it's like we're eating the same ice cream over and over again. So what I would invite you to do is change what's happening every 4 measures, and not every 4 measures, at least every 8 measures. So let's give this a listen. This is cool. This is like an intro. Right? We hit it. Now something can change right there at second 13. Something changed at second 20. Now maybe you leave that change here. Something changed at 32. So the change could be you add an instrument, you take an instrument away, you change what one of the instruments is doing. Now, the other option after those 3 is literally add in a brand new idea. So instead of ba-dum, ba-dum, da-ga-dum, da-dum, go, do-gon, do-dum, do-dum, do-ga-do-gon, dum, 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 gong, gong, gong. Wow, right? Just something different. We need a new idea in here. So this is a really, and I cannot stress this enough. This is an awesome idea. This is a fantastic start. And now we're gonna take it to the next level by adding in some variation and adding in some new ideas that are gonna complement this and move the story along, and then come back to this. That way we're not just eating our favorite type of ice cream every day for a couple weeks in a row. Okay. Let's keep it going. Brian, we answered. Okay, Lucas did his first game jam. Congratulations, Lucas. All right, you got a couple pieces here. We're looking for underwater. Okay. I gotta turn my headphones up. So my hallucination is if someone wanted to create an underwater sounding theme, they might consider putting way more reverb and delay on that snare. Or at least taking the high end off it, because underwater, all the high end's gone underwater. Something to test out. Like the whole thing more reverb, the whole thing more delay. Yeah, the marimba's nice. Reminds me of some C418. Like Minecraft water stuff. Yeah, this is really cool. Experiment with more delay, more reverb on the whole thing. Let's listen to the next one. Here too, more delay, more reverb. These are cool ideas. Make it softer, smoother. Also experiment with reversed sounds, like reverse it. Nice. Very nice. Yes. Yeah, leave everything the same, experiment, more delay, more reverb on that piano. Really fantastic job. All right, let's keep it going. Turn my headphones back down so I don't blow my ears out on this next one. Okay. Mark has extended some sketches. This is going to be fun. All right, let's check out Mark's extended sketches here. Turn this up for you. Now, actually, before we get into this, I'll explain to you what sketches are in case you don't know. So, when you come into my program, if you've written music, if you've never written music before, one of the first things you do, it's not the first, one of the first things you do is you're actually going to create 30 sketches, which is just 30 small 8-measure ideas. And then oftentimes what we do is we actually find there's some really cool ideas. And the reason why we find those cool ideas is because it's a volume play. You don't just write one idea, you don't write 2, you don't write 3, you don't write 10, you write 30 ideas all in a row, which forces you to come up with new things. Like, well, I wrote that thing five ideas ago, now I've got to force myself to come up with something new. And sometimes you actually come up against a block where you can't find an idea, and because you believe that you can't find an idea, that's actually your maximal place for growth right now as an artist. So we find this 30 sketches thing super useful. And so these are some of Mark's 30 sketches that Mark's actually been expanding now, and he's added an additional 8 measures onto the ones that we went through and picked out that we were saying, hey, there's some potential here. All right, so let's listen through these. Keep in mind, these are like his first compositions. These are really good. Yeah, this is fantastic. One of the things Mark is doing just such a good job of here is he's using motif formulas. It's a fantastic way to get started. You've got an A motif here that starts us off, and then an A motif again. I'm just looking at the rhythm A, A, B to start us off. In line 5, got a whole note, and the next measure we got 8, 8, 8, 8, half. That's going to be a new motif. And then we have a dotted half to quarter, and then we have 8, 8, quarter, half. And then we take that idea of the, yeah, this is really fantastic. Really good job, Mark. Write another 16 measures for sketch number 1. All right, let's go to the next one. Nice. Yeah, and right there, you could test out making these last 2 notes, instead of E, E, make them D, D, and that'll launch you into the next E. Or, you know, F sharp D. Something to go subtonic with the D, and that'll lead you back to the E. Some way of not resolving right here. I know, because like, it's your last measure right now, you resolve to it. Now, break that resolution. Write another 16 measures on this. This is awesome. This is great. Check out number 4. Stardew Valley-ish. And also, what I want to point out to you as well is how effective Mark is being at composing, like in this, just using half and quarter notes and some whole notes and some dots. Like, really awesome. I'd save 4 for later. So sketch 1, sketch 2, and I'm actually have this in. So 16 more measures. 4, 1, 2, And also, of course, we got to say, awesome job. Awesome job. All right, 1, 2. Now, if you're saying, well, are all your clients just starting out? No. The ones who are just starting out just happen to be on this asynchronous thing where I'm giving them feedback by written. I do have some more advanced clients in our Gamer Music Creator Guild. And if you want to see the results, you can go to bestmusiccoach.com, click on results. You can listen to everyone's Spotify's and all that good stuff of what people have made and actually see the games people are getting their music into. All right, let's check out this next one. Yeah, save this one too. It's like save all others for later. Save it for later. All right, let's check out this next one. Save it for later. Do 16 more on this. Oh, right there. No, don't, don't. Test out different chords on that. Instead of A minor, test out an E minor there. Nice. Yeah, and then test out repeating a whole bunch of stuff from the top here. This is awesome. All right, 7. And then test repeating from the top some content, then write a 16 measure contrasting section, then bring back the beginning to end. And if you're saying, well, Dan, how are you deciding which ones to tell people to keep working on and which ones not? It's because I'm imagining the best case scenario that I'm able to imagine based on all my years of creating music of where this piece can go right now based on this person's current skill level. And that's like a crazy algorithm that is like, that I'm running in the background there. Yeah, all right, so we have 1, 2, 3 pieces here. I'm just gonna have him save all the rest for later. There's likely some gems here. I'm not gonna go through them. Why? He's already got 3 to extend by 16 measures. This one extend by 16 measures and then some. So I'm actually gonna say, right, 32 measures for 1 and 2. And remember, you can repeat things. Yeah. And then let's see what Mark comes back with those 3. And we'll take those 3 up through the next level. That's really, really fantastic. Really good work. Hi, Ippo2335. Shout out to you. And by the way, if you have questions about your music, pop them in the chat. And if I have time before I go to my next thing, I will answer them. Okay. Let's see how we're going. Yep. Good. Great. That was actually all our questions. Fantastic. Awesome. Well, great job, everyone. Absolutely fantastic, fantastic job. And again, you know, if you want to go see some of the more advanced students, what they're doing, go check out bestmusiccoach.com and go click on the results tab and you can see what everyone's doing over there. All right, this was absolutely fantastic. Claps, 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 claps. Great job. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and goodbye.